As a young filmmaker, I'm worried about the future of the film industry. It's constantly changing at a rapid pace, so much so that a lot of people are forgetting what the beauty of cinema really is. Films today are being erased in a blink of an eye on streaming services and are being shelved by studios for tax write-offs. At the time of making this film, actors and writers are striking for a demand in fair pay and the prevention of artificial intelligence. Hollywood is in trouble, but for me, there has been an ongoing issue in the past 20 years that most casual moviegoers haven't even noticed. What has happened to film reel projection?
The archive came about when I saved a lot of, well, basically, out of the thousands of cans of film that we've got in our archive, a lot of them were saved from destruction many years ago when I was working for a company in London, and I managed to secure a lot of them and brought them back down to Southend-on-Sea. And since then, since we had this collection of thousands of films anyway, once people started to hear about us, people started donating other films to us.
We think we have quite an educational remit here because it's interesting. We have students come along who work on film students, but they never see film. They work digitally, of course, these days. So it's nice to have them come along and see the old technology. We know that that will never go back to the old technology. Digital is here to stay, but it's nice to run that old technology from time to time. Remind people of it, and of course if you talk to the likes of Christopher Nolan and Quentin Tarantino, they will say that the new technology is not as good as the old technology. So it's a fun, but we're a fun evening here, and we just enjoy ourselves. We have a wonderful collection of film, and it's nice to run it.
I've always been fascinated with film, the mechanical aspects of it. Yes, it can be very frustrating. But I've been hooked ever since I was about 7 and had a wind-up projector, plastic projector. Used to show Felix the Cat cartoons, just absolutely fascinated. And I just think it's a great format to watch film on. And obviously to have the white bus here with the archive, and we're both film collectors as well. We collect real film. It's great to be able to show them, particularly on a Wednesday night, and to be involved with it, and to run the projectors and the presentation. It's all about the presentation. It's absolutely great.
Well, with me, it started when I was at school. Well, I ran a film club, and we every Wednesday we put on a show during the lunchtime, and we were able to borrow these films from people like Shell and the Royal Mail and people like that free. And then we'd have a small charge, and at the end of the school year we'd put the money all together and get a feature for the whole school to watch.
I think it's always important to preserve as much film as we can these days. It's all well and good having loads of digital prints around, but there's nothing like bringing out a film print and lacing it up in a projector and showing it old school, really. Of course, there's no point in keeping thousands of copies of one film. That just isn't practical. But I personally think that to keep hold of, good prints that have survived this long, they deserve to be kept for, film heritage.
It's when you're making films these days, being mainly digital, there's a lot of the artistry that's gone from it, because lots of things are now obviously being reproduced after the event through green screens and that sort of thing, and the artistry has disappeared from filmmaking to a great extent. And I think obviously even when you go to the cinema these days, all you're doing is really seeing what you can see at home just on a bigger screen, because you are aware it's digital.
Yeah.
And it's not an experience really anymore. And the actual visual aspect of watching a real film on the screen, there is a difference.
Yeah.
You know, you watch a 35mm film being projected and you can tell the difference between that and digital. And personally, I think that's a better medium.
The most fun we have at the White Bus these days is running the film festivals. It's hard work. I mean, both the film festivals take you know, in my head, I'm already working on. We got one coming up in January, but I'm already working on next June's festival. Mainly ideas rolling round. You know, it's the same sort of feeling as doing a film shoot, really, where you know you work hard all day, and then at the end of the day, you know, you can unwind, have a drink, have a laugh, and get ready for the next day.
So here at the White Bus we show 3 different formats of real film. We can show 8mm, this is a Super 8 film, standard 8 is very similar, and mostly we show 16mm film, which is this, and we can occasionally have the privilege of showing 35mm cinema format film, which is like that.
It stood the test of time.
Yeah.
And I think working down here for the White Bus is a way of preserving, you know, what has gone on before us even.
Yeah. I agree.
You know, and I think that's important,
Yeah, absolutely.
because that's not what's coming out of Hollywood anymore.
I think there's just nothing like properly projected film, whether it's 8mm, 16mm or 35mm, but to watch the film and see the quality of it and see the kinds of films you get, all the different styles and types that you get, but also particularly for me the kind of chugging of the film projector faintly in the distance while you're kind of watching these amazing kind of things. And I think we're very lucky to have a 35mm film projector here as well, because that's fairly rare in itself. Yeah.
The old cinemas were really wonderful places to be. You know, they were quite something in their own right, and then to see some great films on a large screen. So I think we recapture a little bit of that at the White Bus.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the welcome to White Bus Cinema on a lovely Wednesday evening. We're going to start. We're going to do a mixture of 35mm and 16mm, and we're going to start with 35mm and our good old favourite Reflections. So thanks for joining us, folks. Enjoy the feature.
We can't let any of this go. Without the shooting and projection process of film, the industry would simply not exist, even with the digital methods that are being used today. The future of the industry remains uncertain, but I'm going to keep the shooting format going to preserve new stories for as long as it takes, before it's all gone.